He's off now with a win tonight.
And it's going to be key that they get a few days off. I know Utah, they probably don't care who they face as long as the series goes 7, because obviously with Mike Conley being out, trying to you can kind of focus on him.
Right.
Whereas the Clippers, you got Paul George, who's playing great, and Kawhi Leonard, who's playing some of his best basketball in the playoffs this year.
Niang blocked away as Jaren Jackson Jr. came over to help out Ja Morant.
Won a game yet. It's just been a weird series.
There's going to be a foul behind the play. And it was legit. 30-point game. They're in sync now. They're developing that chemistry once again because they've both been out a long time.
Yeah, and this backcourt as Dylan Brooks breaks free for the dunk inside. I want to continue to build on that. You see Dylan Brooks right there with the nice cut, finishes it off with the dunk, slaps the glass a little bit. But that backcourt was really starting to round into form, so you're hoping that Mike Conley doesn't have to miss any time because you want them to continue to build on that continuity.
Rudy Gobert padding those numbers.
And he's got a quiet 17. It doesn't even seem like Rudy has 17 points.
Jaren Jackson Jr. And it's been frustration for him because that looked good. Everything beyond the arc, and it's going to fall into place. There's no question about that for him and Memphis. And finishing up his 3rd season, they have got to make a decision. Jaren Jackson Jr., great secondary defender there with a block. Melton on the wraparound to Dylan Brooks. But Jaren Jackson Jr. will clean it up.
I just love the fact that it'll be a stretch for them to get back in this game. But they're not giving it away. They're not mailing it in. As you see Jaren Jackson Jr. still out there coming up with the block and then finishing with the layup on the inside. I love the competition level of these young guys.
Gobert, left hand a little bit short on the second chance opportunity. Joe Ingles they're going to need in the next round. He is 0 for 5, 0 for 4 on his triples so far. Didn't shoot one on the last game. Jaren Jackson Jr. fills it for the Memphis Grizzlies. It has gotten away, and it got away early. And Donovan Mitchell, the catalyst early. Now the shot clock coming down on Jordan Clarkson. He's up to 19. No panic.
Right there, could have forced up a shot, gives it to Jordan Clarkson, gives him an opportunity to make a play, and the 6th man of the year finishes with a nice little mid-range pull-up jumper.
Boy, you don't see a wedge.
Draft, and I'm interviewing him. I was like, hey, man, I'm hearing you're killing your draft workouts. And he was like, you hearing good things? He's like, you think I should stay in the draft? I was like, yeah, man, I'm hearing your lottery. Who's your agent? He's supposed to tell you these type of stories, these type of things. But he was just so humble and just so gracious that I'd even heard that he was doing well. And obviously staying in the draft, Joe, was the right move.
Well, and that's a lucky number lately in NBA drafts. 13th overall. Jaren Jackson Jr. fills it up again.
Even though the game is a little out of hand, he is not settling. He's not just out there clocking and counting down the minutes. He's still trying to make an impact.
Hey, can I bring up 13? Because the guy we're all going to watch tomorrow night on TNT, Devin Booker. He was taken 13th overall out of Kentucky. And oh, by the way, Zach LaVine, 13th overall out of UCLA. So number 13 has been good in the NBA draft and the second to last pick of the lottery. O'Neal shares it. Clarkson's got it. And everything else is.
Joe.
He's got 24. A quiet 28 for Donovan Mitchell. And he did his damage, let's face it, in the first 12 minutes of play.
Oh, no, Donovan Mitchell's 28 weren't quiet early on. Early on,
no.
They were really, really loud. And then the rest of his Jazz teammates just fed off his energy at that point.
Gobert got it. Game 7 back in downtown Phoenix. Clarkson, they can take their time inside of 8 to play. Why not? Rudy Gobert. That's number 26 for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson just creates such a problem inside. He's been doing his thing, and now when he goes in the lane, as Memphis overreacts to him, he finds Rudy Gobert inside for the nasty dunk.
Ja sees it's Gobert. Good take. Didn't get the roll. Wanted the foul. Bogdanovich. Good transition D by Jaren Jackson Jr. and it'll still belong to.
People just thought it was a nice act. Now we're seeing that he's really serious, and that this Atlanta team is serious with all the offensive players that they have that can score the basketball. As Joe Ingles that's Bogdanovich blew the chippy right there.
By the way, Donovan Mitchell just sat down for the night, but if you joined us a little bit late, he put on a show in the first quarter. He extended the lead dramatically for them to the point where it had to be frustration for a real young team, the youngest team in the postseason, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. That's discouraging when you come out of the blocks and all of a sudden at the end of the first quarter, you've given up 47 points.
Well, most of the times teams take on the identity of their best player. And tonight, Utah took on the identity of who was going to be played and his teammates followed.
9 dimes. That's a good story for them. Ja Morant and Joel Myers, Brendan Haywood. And now guess who's back in the game? Restoring some order. Donovan Mitchell.
Quinn Snyder's not playing any games. He doesn't want any miraculous comebacks to happen. He's going to get his star back in there and make sure that the Jazz close this game out right.
Beautiful pass. Royce O'Neal. Donovan Mitchell on the assist. He's got a double.
Donovan Mitchell put a little bit of sauce on that one. The behind the back, Royce O'Neal finishing off with the 3 from the top of the key. Right now, Utah is they're just playing at a way higher level than Memphis.
Ja Morant denied. It's Melton and a beautiful corner 3. So the first team in NBA history was 17 made threes in 4 consecutive playoff games. They lived by it all season long. It's paid off in the postseason, and it should continue. They know the roles. Jordan Clarkson